and welcome back to Dozzy's Television Workshop, where today we're going to be having a look at this magnificent GEC 2028A colour television set dating from around 1967. Now this is a first generation colour set here in the UK, and as such it also had to cope with the old 405 line black and white system. So this is actually a dual standard colour TV. Obviously there's no colour on 405 lines, but yeah, a magnificent beast, and one of immense expense back in 1967. So this would have cost you 259 guineas, which I reckon is about £272 back in 1967, which according to the Bank of England's inflation calculator, as of today, that is £4,201. No wonder everybody rented them. Right, let's spin it round, take the back off and see what makes it tick. Right, well I've spun the set round and taken the back off, and yeah, there's a lot going on in here. So because it's a dual standard set, when the set switches between standards, many things have to change. If you remember a while ago when we did the little Colster Brands TV set, the little black and white one, that was dual standard 625 405, and I had that big system switch underneath. Well, this has the same arrangement. This time it's driven on a cam that's up here, and the system switch is operated by this lever down here. So I just operate that, you should see it move. There you go. I'd hope that's coming out on camera. So that switches between 405 and 625. So obviously the line output stage over here, by the way, we've got a PL509 and a PY500 boost rectifier in the line output stage. There's no thermionic EHT rectification and stabilization on these sets. They used a tripler, which is tucked in there. It's the first set, I think, commercially to do so. All the other sets that came out at the same time used a shunt stabilizer. So yeah, that's the line stage. So obviously when we switch between 405 and 625, we have to cater for two different line rates. 625 being 15.625 kilohertz, 405 being 10.125 kilohertz. And for that reason, we have different shift and picture controls for both 405 and 625. We've got a Mullard something or other screen. There is a label in there tucked away, but yeah, it's a 19-inch screen, and it was the smallest TV set that came out in 1967. The others all using the 25-inch TV tube, and this was also available in a 25-inch tube. Up here we see this removable convergence panel, and this undoes from these two brass knurled things here, and there are two others, and you take it out and you slot it in the top, so you can adjust the picture convergence from the front. You really need to do that every time you move the thing as well. We won't be doing that today, but there we are. The frame stage stays the same between 405 and 625. It's still 25 frames a second, so nothing much changes there. The frame output is on a PL508 valve there. This lot here is the colour difference amplifier. Now on 405 those are just linked together to give you a black and white picture, but on 625, yeah, those are producing the colour difference signals for the CRT on this lead here, red, green and blue, going up to feed the guns there. IF stage and chroma decoder is here. There's a lot of transistors in the chroma decoder, and they're lock fits, BC148s mainly, and yeah, they're starting to give problems in their later years, but these are all good at the moment. We've got a PL802 on sync duties over here. There are some transistors on this panel as well. This is sort of the sound IF and sync separator, and over here we've got a PCL86 pentode triode, which is our audio amp. So yeah, there's a lot going on in there. When the system switch moves, by the way, get it to move again, you can see it, pulls it up and it pushes a switch that's the whole length of the chassis all the way into the line stage to enable us to switch between colour, switching the chroma decoder. Also changes the video modulation because 405 is positively modulated, 625 is negatively modulated. Also switches the sound from FM for 625 and AM for 405. So it really is a complicated beast. Yeah, so there you go. I'm going to pick a camera and do you some shaky visions of what's going on inside. Try and get a few better pictures here. So you can see down there, that's our PCL. And there is the bracket that operates the system switch. You'll see that moving. Apologies for the shaky camera work as always. There's the sync sep. Here is the colour difference amplifier in there. We've got 3 PCL84s, an ECF80 and an ECC82. That's the frame valve. And over here is the line output stage, transformer and tripler arrangement. And the plethora of controls we've got up there for setting up the convergence. Yeah, beast of a set. And it doesn't half weigh. There's a lot of steel in that chassis. Oh, another thing, it's GEC, which means you've got print on both sides of the board. And much bemoaned by engineers, but there is a reasonably easy way to solve problems on this board. So, say you want to get that resistor out there, just solder it, warm it up from this side, and then pull it out from the top. You can't really desolder from the bottom because you always end up with solder left on the top. Pull it out and it lifts the print and does damage. But you can see I changed a few over there years ago. Down in here. It's just the easiest way to do it. Just to get them warm, pull them out from the top, and then it's all good. We ought to mention the tuner really. So this up here, with the cam that operates the system switch, that's the VHF tuner. It has a UHF position, which then switches in a transistorized UHF tuner, which is just in there, operated by those push buttons on the front. 2 aerial sockets as well, one for 405 and one for 625. Both bands 1 and 3 are tunable on the VHF for 405 line BBC and ITV. So there you go. Bit of an overview. Well, we've switched the set on. We will have to wait a considerable time for the valves to warm in this old girl. And there we go. Looks like we may be a little off tune. There you go. There it is. Working on PiPatGen. It's not the most stable signal from PiPatGen, I have to say, but yeah, a very reasonable picture that sadly doesn't really show up on the camera. Let me dim the lights a bit. There you go. So that's a 625 line colour picture as it would have looked in 1967. Thank you very much for watching. Click like, subscribe, do all that rubbish, and I'll see you really soon here on Doz's Television Workshop. Cheers now. Bye.
With a gentle hand, he brings them back in line. Every twist and turn makes the magic shine. Cathodes and the crackle of the tubes amidst the dust. They play nostalgic tunes. Solder smoke and the faint aroma of time in each repair. An art that's so prime. In Darcy's shop, where wires twist and spark, fix the picture, bring back color in the dark. Screens that buzz, it's magic on display. Old TVs revived in a brand new closer. Neon signs, they guide you to the door. Tubes and screens like you've never seen before. Pulses hum as sparks begin to fly. In this tiny shop, dreams are set too high. Touch of leather, your picture's clear and true. It does as hands, pixels flicker, back to life and stand. Microchips and vintage heart in a world of screens, playing their parts. Circuit boards with stories to untangle. Every wire a promise at an angle. With steady hands, as Darcy bends the light through the lens, creating onyx nights. Oscillators, creating sonic waves, bringing back the charm of retro days. Capacitors and resistors. In Darcy's touch, there's no misfire. Transistors dance to the rhythm of repair. Through the glow, feels like magic fills the air. Voltage pulses, the tune's melodic run. A symphony of sparks where the work is never done. In Darcy's shop, with steady hands.
Right, well, I've spun the set. Do that again, looking at the wrong camera.